I see. I was waiting for you to do it, and you didn't do it. Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Mark is messing with me, and Mark gets a little wintry weather, and he starts behaving terribly. So,
yeah. Well, we're recording this during the day for you, Erica, so that you won't get spooked.
I've got my Nope sweater on. We'll be posting these episodes, and I'm going to actually be working on it. It's a weekend we're recording this, but you guys should start seeing them coming out. Anyway, I had a delay.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of listener tales, and so we decided we really need to stay on top of catching these things up so that,
because we don't
the
get
funnel
like
doesn't
last
get
time
too
where
fuddly.
where they stockpile and we got to do like 3 back to back to back to back. So as it is, we're going to be doing these, fairly often. If you guys keep these coming, oh my gosh. And we know they're your favorite episodes. So
they absolutely are. I love hearing from our listeners, our travelers. I love it when they come up to us in shows and tell us things. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, my friends. Mark, I have decided I'm using my crystal ball, and I've decided you're going first this time. I went first last time. Luckily, mostly avoided terrifying stories, but it was at night and I didn't sleep well. So I'm going to eat my, by the way, favorite new candy, which is these gummy ropes, especially the sour ones, the sweet tart ones. So I'm going to do that while you read this first story for us.
Okay. Well, that'll be a new stock for the Wayback Machine. So for future travel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Make sure that goes in the list. All right. So here we go. We'll jump right in, gang. So, hey, Mark. Hey. 30 plus years ago, my mom's stepdad died. My step grandpa was basically her father. Real dad walked out when she was 9. There was a gathering at the house following the funeral. Phone rings. My mom picks up and hears a male caller say her name in her interrogative fashion, like, Susan? She was sure it was his voice, panicked, and hung up. The caller didn't call back, and the reverse dial pulled up a previous number to someone she knew who had called much earlier. So essentially, the call from beyond didn't happen as far as the phone company was concerned. To this day, she believes it was him and regrets panicking and hanging up. For your information, my mother is not religious or spiritual, etc. Bonus story. Yeah, I like that. Bonus story. When my grandfather died, 2004, from complications following colon surgery. I'm sorry to hear that. He was in his late 90s, so it was a good run. There you go. He was in the hospital following his surgery. My dad and aunt had a feeling it might be a 50-50 chance he'd pull through given his age, so they were present. He wakes up and asks when he got back. They ask him to explain. He said he had a dream that he was on a road trip in an Airstream trailer with a buddy of his whom he'd had a falling out with 50 plus years ago. He was driving and they were blinded by a bright light in the windshield, and then he woke up. A few minutes later, he went to sleep and passed. Come to find out that he and his buddy always wanted to do a cross-country road trip, but had some kind of falling out and never spoke again. My grandmother remembered that happening shortly after World War II, and it must have weighed heavily on him. Barb.
Oh, Barb.
Barb, thank you for those 2 stories. Those were amazing.
That is amazing. And I love that he had that dream. I hope it was his buddy saying, hey, come adventure with me on the other side.
Yeah. And they had that, the phone call from the missing relative, the dead relative. That happens. We've heard that before. And it's one of those strange phenomena that we've heard. And
hopefully your mom does take away that obviously he was thinking about her and wanted to just let her know that. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that. Okay, here we go.
All right. Thanks, Barb.
Yes, thanks, Barb. Ever since, I don't like the first line of this. I did this to myself. Okay. Ever since I was 10, I've always encountered a sleep paralysis episode once a month. This experience I will never forget. I went to sleep early than I usually do, probably around 7 or so. Woke up at 2 a.m. and found I couldn't move. I tried calling my mom and dad, but nothing. Living in a big room was always unsettling for me at first since there are lots of shadowy corners. I'm saying this because in one corner there was a long black figure. Had no facial features from what I remember, but the legs and the huge body is what terrified me the most. It crept closer and closer. Yep, nope. I thought this was going to be a nope episode. We're already burn it down. Burn it all down. Okay. Every movement felt like hours. Then it got to the side of my bed and their long finger was pointed at me. I closed my eyes and I think that's when I passed out. I woke up a few hours later at 4 and it was still dark. The figure was gone though. I didn't get out of my bed or anything. I just cried and cried. I stayed up the rest of the night looking at the corners every second. The trauma from that was so bad that I had to go see a therapist and my mom pulled me out of school for a few days so I can relax and be myself. Now, every now and then I think about that day and it makes me cry. The thought of me thinking I would die or being taken still scares me. Amy. Oof. Oh my goodness, Amy. I'm so sorry you're still experiencing that. Trauma is terrifying, like seriously. But that is horrible. Sleep paralysis. And it made me drop my candy, Amy. That's what happened. You have a candy drop that's unexplained.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, sleep paralysis is not fun.
No, it's not. But you're strong, Amy, and you made it. Yeah. So and remember that. You made it through that. You're strong. I know it was terrifying, but you're still here and you're with us.
I am so glad your mom gave you a couple mental health days and lets you do that. So supportive of that. I wish more and more people could do that because so many just like, oh, suck it up, go to school. And your brain was telling you needed a break, and who knows what you saw. Hopefully, it was just that, just a night terror that you got through. But oh man,
yeah. Well, we've got your back, Amy. If it tries to come again, just call for the woman in white. She'll take him home.
No, well, thank you so much for letting us know. So she'll pull him back. She'll rein him in.
She will. Woman in white stuff.
This next one, oh my gosh, I already love the first little bit. So
okay.
Ready? Thanks again, Amy. I grew up in Ass Deep, Louisiana. I could be here all night sending you my stories. Yeah.
Oh, send them.
Yeah. All right. So the most memorable one I have that I know Erica will love is the Rougarou / Dogman thing that used to sit in the cleaning post in the clearing past our driveway. And I know it'll sound like bullshit.
Not at all, my friend. Not at all.
I used to sneak out of the house and smoke at night and stay up late. Standard rebel emo teenager shit. And we lived in the middle of the highway. Yeah. No towns or nothing for miles both ways. Our only light was a massive searchlight past our garage, and being on huge property meant just about anything from coyotes to panthers could roll out of the woods like it was nothing. But I was used to it. What I wasn't used to was the thing that would sit out in the clearing time to time, especially in the winter. It would just sit under the searchlight the way one does when you sit on the ground with your legs straight out, holding its tail and picking at the ground. At first, I thought we just had wolves or coyotes on roids, but eventually I made a stupid white man in a horror film decision to step out and whistle at it.
Oh!
Yeah. Maybe it was a stray dog.
No,
I learned my lesson when it scrambled to its...
Nope.
Well, I learned my lesson when it scrambled to its bipedal feet and stared straight at me before hopping the chain link fence and running out onto the deserted highway. It came back every few weeks or so in the early morning / late night, usually sitting in that clearing, digging at the crawfish holes or squatting at the end of the gravel driveway. I'd say fuck it and just go smoke in our laundry room those nights. I used to have photos of the torn apart crawfish mounds, but I haven't had that phone since 2013. I moved away years later, and I often wonder if it's still there. Wouldn't surprise me. The property was haunted, or at least had bodies on it. The headstones behind the barn always freaked me the fuck out, but not as much as the Rougarou. I still have dreams about the way it stared at me. Nobody I ever told believed me, but my dog and I know what we saw night after night. Harvey.
Oh, Harvey. Hopefully the voice of Erica is in your head now and you will not whistle at things like that. But I love this story and I would love for you to tell us where this is because, that sounds like fun. Sounds like a very fun thing. I enjoy this, Harvey. Thank you.
Erica, you would go to this haunted place and not nope out?
I would go stand on the highway.
Okay. Close enough. All right.
I will not go near a barn where a bunch of dead bodies are buried behind it, but I'm just curious because I'd love to kind of, even during the daytime, see what he's talking about. Because, I mean, we don't often get stories where, well, we do people doing ridiculous things, Harvey. If you ever meet in person, you're going to have a scolding from me. But we don't often hear about people experiencing things like this where there's not a degree of terror or fear or lizard brain kicking in going, run, run, run. It sounds like it was like, you're over there, I'm over here. Great crawfish. I'm just going to sit here and eat crawfish. I'm fine as long as you're fine. And then you went, hey, yeah. And it went, excuse me? I love that. I love that part. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So Harvey, word to the wise. I hope you've learned your lesson, but please email us and tell us where this is. I want to go by there.
And Harvey, I'm sure you know what a bear looks like. So this does not sound like a bear. This sounds like something. It was able to leap a fence, not climb a fence, leap it. So there you go. For those.
You know, if you look at we've joked a lot about the Rougarou and the, sexually transmitted curses and stuff with Val Willis on our show, whom we love dearly. But I have to say, the Rougarou legend is one of the most continuous werewolfy type legends that exist. And whether it was a Dogman or a Rougarou, or if they're the same thing, could be. I'm 40ing that one. I just think it's completely fascinating because to think these creatures just go around terrorizing things all the time and that's all they do. That's not how these things operate. It's not even how the predators we see all the time operate. Like lions do a lot of laying around.
Yeah.
Then hunt. Then a lot of laying around.
I do like that this was a Cajun Rougarou who was digging for crawfish. So
I love me a good crawfish boil. So
agree.
Yeah,
agree.
Big fan. Crawfish étouffée. Let's do it.
Oh, there you go. I'm all in for that. I just made a jambalaya here in the winter because I was like, I gotta do it. So, all right. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Harvey. That's amazing. So
that is amazing, and I believe you 1,000%.
You get send us more stories, so send us some more. So all right.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Go for it, Erica. Oh, it's about me, but go ahead.
It's about me. Last story was about me. Did I say that? No.
I know.
Why?
I know.
Because I'm not wearing my ego like a t-shirt. I'm wearing my Nope sweater.
You somehow your crystal ball screwed it all up this time, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. No matter what I do, you've somehow rigged this, and I don't know how yet, but you've somehow done it. I'm going to eventually figure it out.
Story. You know I hate swearing, and I had to swear in my first story. So
that's true. That's what you get. That's what you get. No, just kidding. Okay, here we go. I heard you talk about gnomes on Coast to Coast in a recent re-listen of old episodes. Oh, this is about Mark. Okay. I used to see lots of gnomes when I was a little kid. I stopped seeing them around 8. I always assumed I had dreamed them when looking back as an adult, but I asked my grandmother and my dad and my grandfather seen them. Oh, and they've seen them too when they were kids. I didn't look like garden gnomes. They didn't have beards, but did have pointed little red hats. They were the most malevolent little bastards you can imagine. Red hats. Yep. My dogs could see them too, and dogs hated them. They would do this thing where they would throw something at you that would leave a mark and would be painful for several days after. My grandmother called it being elf shot. Elf shot. Have you ever heard of that before?
No.
Oh, we're going to have to look up elf shot. Yeah. I don't know what to think of it, if it was a dream or not, but I had 2 previous generations encountering these same things. And it's entities makes me think there's something out there. Alyssa, I can actually tell you because I have seen them. They are out there. Absolutely. So I think it is very, very interesting. And yeah. So yep.
Now there was a story we shared on the Discord. I don't think it made it into an episode for breaking news, but we have breaking news with this story. The scientists were studying this fungus that makes people see little people, like all over their tables and all over things. If you eat it and it's not cooked properly, that's exactly the exact thing people see as little people. And it's from China. They've got an outbreak of it. They were talking about every year they expect this outbreak of people coming into the hospital, seeing little people crawling down the walls and crawling all over them. So not saying that that's what this sounds like Red Hat's Fae, but I had to share that because that was a crazy story.
Wow. I looked up elf shot. I did the Googling.
Mm-hmm.
Elf shot or elf short shot, anyway, is a medical condition described in the Anglo-Saxon medical texts about wild fairies that have been believed to be caused by elves shooting invisible elf arrows at a person or animal, causing sudden shooting pains localized to a particular area of the body. And Vikings used to capture elf shots. It's a thing. I'm just saying, we like to go. We don't know what it is, but there's probably some kind of poison in it. It wouldn't surprise me. And red hats are little assholes. They absolutely are. So, Alyssa, you are 100% correct. You are not wrong. And I think you can see them because there's a point in time we start getting told that things aren't real, which makes, I've talked about this before on episodes, and I still have this bookmark, and it had a unicorn on it. And I got it when I was really, really young. And it said some things have to be believed to be seen. And I don't know why that resonated with me, even as a young child with little like Stuart Little chapter books kind of thing. But it always resonated with me because I believe that. You have to be willing to believe, because otherwise there is a mental thing. It's kind of like when you have a certain trauma, your body will shut off what happened. It's weird. Alyssa, I believe you.
And thanks for listening to all Coast to Coast episodes to stir it up for you. So appreciate that. So,
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Chupacabra are just coyotes with mange. That's why as soon as Hollywood came up with a name, the whole Southwest was like, shit, I've seen that. They sure look like something paranormal. A healthy coyote doesn't act like one dying of mange, and the abnormal behavior is pretty creepy all on its own. But most of my creepy experiences had pretty straightforward explanations, like feeding the cat, and then my cat walked through the cat flap. But there really was a second cat. He didn't look much like mine when I was paying attention, but at first glance, their heads and backs were close enough, so I made the mistake. But another story for Erica isn't mine, but a friend's.
Oh, Mark, is this for me? Is this for me? Is this all about me?
This is all about you. All right. A tropical storm hit, and she was watching the weather for updates on the tornado watch warnings when she heard her cat scratching and crying like mad at the front door. Horrified her pet was outside in the storm, she rushed downstairs to let her in. Her mom caught her just before she got to the door and stopped her. She said, "That's not our cat," and pointed to where their cat was cowering in a corner, eyes glued to the door. They crept around to the bedroom window to look at the front porch and discovered it was a pair of bobcats that were scratching and crying at the door. After some frantic discussion, they opened the garage door partway to give them shelter so the bobcats wouldn't damage the door any more than they already had. It took a few minutes, but the bobcats left the shelter of the porch and entered the garage and ate the cat food there. One of the bobcats gave birth in their garage that night. As soon as the storm passed and the water receded about a day later, the bobcats carried the kittens back to their den. Based on where we sighted the kittens after that, we think Mama Cat was in labor when the storm flooded her den. And we think the bobcats had watched her cat come and go and figured any port in a storm. Still, they were very creeped out for weeks after that. Not paranormal, but I thought y'all would enjoy it. James.
Oh my goodness, James, that was hysterical. That is
Yeah.
really, really funny. And I love that they did give shelter because even wild animals, there's so many things like of bears coming to get people to help out and deer and stuff. They do know that we have the ability with our opposable thumbs to assist in some situations that they can't get out of. And I love when they come and look for help. I absolutely think it's wonderful. So, James, thank you for those stories. I love them.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the kitties grew up pretty well there. So, well, we've
Yeah.
got cats all around us over here in the North Carolina mountains. We love them. So,
Yeah, no, that's true. And all around me as well. Okay,
all right.
let's see.
Thanks, James. I love Not Paranormal. We're good with those stories too. They're fun.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a fun story, and it doesn't have to be paranormal or preternatural. You know, it just make it fun, right?
We love all stories. We're documenting. It's what we do. So,
Okay,
all right.
Here we go.
There you go, Erica.
I think I just connected the dots between the new Spielberg trailer, Disclosure Day, and the Ray Whistleblower, the 2002 Crabwood Crop Circle, and insectoid-like ant-like aliens. Nobody else seems to have put this together. They've been going down a rabbit hole for days, and I think I've connected something that nobody else has pointed out yet. At least I couldn't find it anywhere online. If I'm wrong and anyone has sent you this, let me know. But hear me out. Disclosure Day trailer. Spielberg's upcoming 2026 movie, in the teaser, Emily Blunt's character, a meteorologist, is live on TV giving a weather forecast, then suddenly stops and starts making these rapid clicking, chittering sounds. It sounds exactly like the ant insect communication. You go on YouTube and search leafcutter ants talking or ant stridation sounds. It's almost identical, like something took over her body and is channeling a message through this insectoid clicks. The Ray Whistleblower, that big anonymous post from late November 2025 on Are UFOs and Are Aliens, I'm assuming that's Reddit.
That's Reddit.
Yeah. Talks about a galactic council that's supposedly helping humanity with technology. But there's a hostile ant-like insectoid species that got excluded from the council. They're pissed, and something big is coming around 2027. Invasion or conflict. Crabwood Crop Circle from 2002, the famous one with the alien face holding a disc. The face looks like a super insectoid bug-like creature. Huge black eyes, thin features, more like an ant or a mantis than a classic gray. The binary message on the disc codes to say, beware of the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there's good out there. We propose deception, conduit closing. This is literally a warning about false promise and deception, which lines up perfectly with Ray's story that the council is giving fake help tech, and these insectoids or their allies sent a warning 23 years ago. Bonus, this is wild. Like my mind is blowing right now.
This is some good stuff. I like this.
Yeah. Bonus, an old Russian story, Kirzan. Oh, I'm not going to say this.
Don't even bother.
Yeah. Former president of Kalmykia claimed aliens abducted him. When he was asked why they don't openly contact humans, they replied, "You don't talk to ants, do you?" Yeah, that's about it. So to put it all together, 2002, insectoid-looking beings, crop circles warning about deception and broken promises from false gift bearers. 2025, Ray leaks the same narrative, benevolent council deceiving us, angry ant-like aliens coming in 2027. December 2025, trailer drops where the alien message is channeled through an ant-like clicking sounds. The movie is literally called Disclosure Day and features crop circles. Is this just a coincidence, a perfect marketing timing for the movie, or has somebody been dropping clues since 2002 about what's coming in 2027? It feels like way too many pieces fit together to be random. What do you guys think? Did you go down the same rabbit hole, Mark? Do you think Spielberg works for X? Jordan. Jordan. There's so much to unpack there.
You really went on a nice daisy chain there of
Okay,
going down a
so
rabbit hole. That's
I
exactly how
will
I do it.
say you went on a Muncie Bunny Trail. That's what
Yep.
we called it, Muncie Bunny
Yep.
Trail. So, wow, Jordan, I know Mark's going to have a lot to say, so I got to just get my immediate thoughts and feelings out about this. X could be in contact with Spielberg. I don't know. It's been a while since we heard from X, which always makes me incredibly nervous when that happens. I don't like delays. And whether it's from I would like some contact. Me and Mark have been saying, and this is our gut feelings, and Mark can do, something is coming. They keep hinting at it. They keep throwing it in the media because, again, a person is smart and people are stupid. If they threw out right now the aliens, blah, 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 it would be terrible. However, something is coming. We've thought that. We didn't know when it was coming, but something is coming. So I'm going to be nice. But again, I'm going to reference back when I talked about my Antarctica trip and meeting Neil deGrasse Tyson and him saying that chimpanzees, DNA-wise, are only 1% different than us. And we look at them and go, they're monkeys and they can be taught to the level of a toddler. So if something is many more degrees different from us, but still carbon-based, they could go idiots. So that's my thoughts. Mark, what are your thoughts before we take a break?
I think about that Russian story where they did say, well, you don't talk to ants, do you? It wasn't that they were talking about that the language sounded like ants. I think he was saying literally, you don't talk to ants. That's how the aliens consider us. We're ants to them. We're nothing to them. And that makes sense, right? That would be if they were that advanced and can travel here. We're nothing. We're nowhere near that. We can't even think about that. We can't even get back to the moon. We're trying our best, but hopefully that's happened by now, but where we've launched around it. But we're recording this before the launch went off and it got delayed because of the cold. So I don't know. This is there is a lot to chain there. I don't know if they would talk like clicks and stuff. That we don't know. The languages could be interesting about that. And that Rhea whistleblower, that was a crazy post that made a lot of sense. And sometimes that's how these things get out, is some of these things kind of just make sense. Was he a real whistleblower? We don't know. But we're also learning some of these guys that they banned and said, oh, this guy really didn't work for Area 51. Guess what? We find out now he probably did. They were blackballing him. So on some of the technologies he described are now commonplace, like using a thumbprint to get in a door. I worked at an office that did that, but back then nobody did that. And it's stuff like that. It's it's there. It's there. Something is coming. We agree. That's why they're doing congressional hearings on it that they never did for 20 plus years. They're like, nope, this doesn't happen. Now we're going, okay, we should talk about this. And I think that's just so they can cover their butts when something big does happen and they can't hide it anymore. They go, okay, yeah, we see, we tried to tell you, you just didn't listen. So we'll see.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because a lot of, there's little and we're only going to go slightly down this Muncie Bunny Trail. So I'm only going a little bit down it. Mark, you don't get to go the rest of the way because it's listener tales and we're going to have to take a break in a minute.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
I often thought that, you talk about when people get abducted, they get paralyzed somehow. They're awake, but they're paralyzed. And it happens in a way that it's not like somebody's over them injecting them or something, right? So you've just got to go. There has to be a degree of ability to cause some sort of stoppage of the circuits in your brain and stuff like that paralyze your body. Because we know we do certain like nerve blocks and things like that to create that effect for surgery. But how do you do that remotely? Like, how are they doing that not being in physical contact with the body right away and then undoing it? Now, I can understand, blocking memories and stuff because all kinds of stuff can do that. Our bodies are very susceptible to hallucinogenics and all these other things. And, I just had a surgery on my ear recently. I was unconscious for the whole thing. Thank God, because I don't like waking up in surgeries, happened before. But it's just interesting to me, and I'm going to stop my bunny trail here, that there's things like that. So the ability to mentally do stuff would not surprise me at all, and mind control, that sort of thing. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's easy to see if they can paralyze us remotely.
Yep.
So anyway, those are the thoughts, and I think we need to take a break.
Well, as for Spielberg, go watch Paul. Great movie, and it'll explain the Alien Spielberg connection. And we'll be right back. All right.
We're back.
Did you get some candy?
We're back. Yes, thank you so much. God, I love these stories. Okay, go for it, Mark.
That was great. All right, so let's blitz them. So, hi, Erica and Mark.
Hello.
You first. Good for them. All right, out camping near Wiggins. Like that?
Mark, okay, so everybody should know that we're close in proximity, but we generally record in our own offices, our own spaces. Yeah. So it's always hysterical for me when Mark gets super sassy. Every now and then he gets super sassy because when he's in person, he knows that close proximity to somebody who's almost his same size, the sass level is not that high. I'm just saying.
She'll take me out. So, all right. All right. So let's see. Let's get back to the story. Out camping near Riggins, Idaho in 1994, 25 miles from the town on the Salmon River at the French Creek drainage. Me and some friends decided to take a walk down the road in the middle of the night. No flashlights. It was a clear spring night sky. We were walking eastward. I noticed off to my left at about 45 degrees in my periphery, there was what I thought was the moon, but slightly obscured by the trees alongside the road. I didn't pay it any mind for a few minutes until I saw the moon actually rising in the east in front of me. Shocked, I immediately turned to face this thing, and it was the most beautiful jaw-dropping sight I've ever seen. The perfect white oval, the size of the moon at a 45-degree angle, moving slightly downward at a slow clip. It was encased in a white luminous vapor, as if it was dipped in glowing liquid nitrogen or frozen gases sublimating off the craft like dry ice. A very pure, vibrant white vapor pouring off this thing like a comet with a tail. At the very extremes of the wispy tail, there was almost an eclectic blue tinge. I ran back down the road the way we just walked because there was a clear vantage of what I was seeing between the trees. I looked down at the road only for a split second to see which way I was running and looked back up, and it was completely gone. A very brief encounter, but a very vivid one that is marked in my brain forever. Jim.
Oh, Jim, that sounds amazing.
Oh my gosh, Jim. I would have killed to see that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And believe it or not, I would have loved to seen that as well, because again, really? We have our second non-harmful sounding story.
Well, yeah, it just appeared. Again, people panic when they see stuff like this. Don't. You did a good thing to run to try to get better height and to get better look at it. That's perfect. And you documented it. If you had a camera, great, but not everybody can get to it and all that. And it sounds like this was just very vivid in your brain, and that's perfect. That's good. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Draw that, because that sounds beautiful, like a beautiful little image. So all of our travelers out there that do the drawing that I don't do well, I do amazing stick figures though. We would love to see, when you hear some of these stories, we'd love to see what you think it looks like. So please feel free to send us any drawings or imagery that you do. That would be amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow. Thank you, Jim.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
I guess we did this in the right order, Mark, because here's how this one starts. I saw a Dogman once. Fucker scared me to death.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, that's too funny to me. Yeah.
Oh my God, I already love this story. So here we go. I noticed movement in my driveway, so I looked out the window that overlooks it. It's kind of a high window. I'll see the hood and roof of your car, but not always the bottom of the tire. This is relevant because when I looked down at the movement, I think I'm seeing a black bear kind of snuffling its head from side to side. I live in a cul-de-sac neighborhood with one side facing the highway and the back half surrounded by state game lands. So bears aren't uncommon, especially if it's a lean year. Anyhow, I'm seeing this non-bear move towards my street. I moved to my bedroom for a better view. I have a big picture window with a full view. So not bear makes it to the end of the driveway and stands up on two goddamn legs. I love this. It's not directly under the street light, but it's pretty clear this is not, and I repeat, this is not a bear. That was in all caps. It stood fluidly. I love this so much. It stood fluidly, throwing its head back, scenting the air. And it hits me. I'm looking at a goddamn werewolf. Pointed ears, very long snout, and it was about 6.5 to 7 feet tall. I know this because where it stood in relation to the street light. It was tall, but not super bulky. You could see its muscularity, but I didn't think shot at steroids and pounded protein. Think like a linebacker, more like think of less linebacker and more basketball player, lean. Its waist tapered to hawked dog legs. It's either a dark gray or black in the orange street lights, so the true color was off. I didn't notice genitals nor a tail. So I begin to walk very smoothly it begins to walk very smoothly and casually across my road towards some scrub brush. Realization took my legs right out from under me. I was kind of hunkered down. It was kind of hunkered down on its haunches, staring right into my room, right at me. It had blue eyes. I know these are relatively rare and not unheard of. I proceeded to pee my pants right then. Oh my God, this is the most real story. I love this so much. Okay. Oh, I'm crying. I love this so much. I proceeded to pee my pants right then and there and sat hard. I felt like the wind was gone. Seconds pass and I pull up to peek over the sill. I can't see it now. I don't know if it had its eyes closed or had moved mere seconds after I lost my legs and pissed myself. I was just so shocked, scared, even though I know I got off lightly compared to other eyewitnesses. It happened almost a year ago exactly. It's Saturday, 1/6/2025. I've devoted the past year to learning all I can about this thing. It robbed me of sleep, and I will not go out after dark unless absolutely have to. I have nightmares. I regret not taking a picture or video. I was simply so shocked I didn't think to. My takeaway is this. If I see a 7-foot Dogman on the outskirts of Scranton, Pennsylvania, what the fuck else is real? I messaged you and Shannon LeGros about it. Found you through her show. Kat. Oh, Kat. Kat, your storytelling is freaking hysterical. I love this so much and so real. And yeah, there's a lot of things out there as we've discussed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing. Again, we talked about this in several stories here. Being scared is correct. That is an apex predator and compared to your human body. I'm not saying we don't have guns and stuff, but in relativity to the animalistic abilities of our bodies, we're squishy. I've said this before. So something like that could easily cause great harm to your body. So having a reaction of being scared is probably correct. However, I think we know when somebody's looking at us. We feel it. When we're sitting in a restaurant and somebody starts staring at us, we look over at them. Somebody's staring at us across the bar. We see them. Very rarely do we not feel that sort of intention or observation when it's coming directly at us. They're not going to be very different. Animals do that all the time. You look at the animal looks at you. You know, when it's a zoo or something and it's being looked at all the time, it probably dulls its senses, but it was probably out. There was probably something it was looking for, food, berries, garbage can, who the hell knows, right? That it was looking for. And then it caught you looking at it. So of course it turns and looks at you. Yeah, and I get it. It's scary, but I don't think it's like hunting you or something. It probably was just, if it was scenting the air, it was absolutely looking for something. And I can guarantee it was not you, because guess what? If it was you, when you looked back up, it would have been a lot closer to your window.
And you wouldn't have been able to send us a letter. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to send us an email. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Again, great storytelling, fantastic. And yes, this is not a bear. We hear that from all these people. Oh, it's just a bear. Misidentified. No, this was not a bear. And they make 100% of this. I do. And of course, this is a goddamn werewolf. Yes, that's what everybody tells us. It's a freaking werewolf. And it's insane. So I'm glad. And the details you got, perfect. And the fact that it was an orange street light, so you don't know if the color was off. I'm impressed you even got that down. And again, that whole didn't think to bring on my phone. This thing lasted what? A few seconds, a minute? You may not have gotten your phone out in time, even if you thought about it. So,
and you may not have gotten a picture of it, because we've heard many, many times these guys have something on their fur or something that kind of, I don't know, diffuses light, something. And it's not like a supernatural, ability, like whatever, but we've heard that that's true with their ability to camouflage themselves, which is something a lot of animals do, believe it or not. Like, we see leopards and stuff, but the truth is leopards are up in trees and people don't see them because their coat is designed to hide them in that. Deer, even, like, Mark and Carrie had some deer little hoof prints, either that or fairies, one of the two. But you don't always just see deer, because I looked out, my friend Brandy, who I talk about all the time, has a ton of deer in her backyard, and she'll be like, oh, look out the sliding glass doors, there's a baby. And I'll look and I won't see anything until I really start concentrating. And there's a whole ton of them out there that I didn't see upon my first look. Anyway.
And her comment there is, if I could see that in Scranton, Pennsylvania, what the F else is real? Exactly. What the F else is real. That's why we do this show.
Talk about the Squonk, Pennsylvania.
Yep. And I love that you found us through Shannon LeGros into the fray. We love that show.
Shannon. Hearts to Shannon. We love her so much.
I hope she messaged you about this too, because, oh my gosh, that's a great story. So,
yes. Okay.
All right. Moving on. That's going to be hard to top, but here we go. Let's see. I saw the Minaway in Hawaii, I guess. Minahune. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce that.
I thought it's Minahune. Yeah.
Maybe Minahune. I would say the strongest sensation was just shock, almost confusion, but not because I was feeling totally normal. Like, my brain didn't believe what I was seeing. There you go. Just what we discussed. I was in the jungle at night too, but we had bright lights, so I saw them clear as day. Also, they have messed with multiple campsites, like untying ropes. Huh?
That's about right.
Yep. They were like untying ropes and then retying them in weird ways. Once we had an orange-handed machete disappear for a whole day and reappear in the morning sticking out of a stump. Everyone was a little freaked out. A big piece of cake went missing on a night we heard whispers all around our tent and what sounded like children almost. Talking in the night in a very isolated, old magic feeling strip of beach. At that beach, I also saw a very blue light the size of a lemon pop into existence, hover just past a cliff, and then disappear a short while later. It was very close to us. The crazy part.
Oh, I love the crazy part. We've already gone through the crazy parts here. When people say that, they're like, let me tell you about the Dogman at the end of my driveway. Crazy part, it had blue eyes. No, that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is the Dogman at the end of the driveway. Oh my gosh, sorry. I guess
that's right.
Go ahead. Crazy part.
So this is the crazy part. So when this happened, I'd only been on island for 3 weeks. I didn't know anything about the culture yet until I later made more native friends. I had never heard of the Minahune at all or any of the local tales yet. I mean, I just arrived there. There is a water bottle company called Minahune Water Company or something to that effect. I hadn't yet seen it anywhere. Didn't know it existed. It'll tie back to this below. The Minahune were walking in 2 concentric circles. but the inner circle was going the opposite direction as the outer circle. They were probably between 2 to 3.5 foot high. It's kind of hard for me to judge that kind of thing. They had red headdresses on, for lack of a better word. I don't think headdress fits, but hat or crown didn't fit either. And they had some sort of protrusion on top, maybe feathers, probably not. I'm not sure how to describe them. Kind of like a mohawkish. The upper chests were bare, and they had a covering like loincloths, I think, but I couldn't see their legs just because of where they were. I saw the top halves of their body. They looked like people, physical people, not like a ghost or a mirage. I saw another small humanoid in Hawaii that was sort of opaque, but slightly see-through. That one was a similar height, however, much different physical experience. It had walked right up to me. My friend who was actually training as a Hukol medicine man with the tribe, he was with me then, but that's a different story. I want that story.
Me too.
But these are a very physical and real presence. The lights even reflected off the sheen of their shoulders, like they had very well moisturized, oily, perfectly textured skin, or maybe it was sweat. It's always humid there. So I don't know. They had no blemishes, though. They didn't glow. They looked like regular people, but the proportions were wrong. They were a little rotund, but not dramatically so. They looked very healthy. In Hawaii, being well-fed is a sign of wealth and vitality, and they looked healthy all right. They had thick hair, but it wasn't noticeably long or anything above the shoulders. Anyway, I'll go Google Minahune Water Company and look at their logo. 2 weeks after I saw them, I actually had a friend buy me a bottle of the water in the store while I sat in the car. They gave it to me while I sat in the car. I looked at it and I was in disbelief. This is exactly what I saw. I hadn't been able to stop thinking about the experience since. And suddenly this water bottle, which I'd never ever had or laid eyes on, had a picture of what I saw in the jungle that night. I was tripped out in a big way. Tim.
Wow. Yep. Nope. That's exactly what it is. And it looks like, yeah. So here's the thing, Tim. Well done. These people actually were noted when the Polynesian people arrived on those islands. Like they were noted throughout history being little people and then chased and hunted into the jungles. And there's been rumors that they were hunted to extinction, but we never know for real. That's not surprising. They're not harmful. They are literally little people. And so I think that you had a wonderful, rare encounter. That's amazing. And, you know, no offense, but cake, all of us love cake. I'll take cake. If cake's available, yeah, let's do cake, you know. And they are going to have voices that probably sound like children just because they have a smaller body. Smaller bodied people tend to have higher voices. Like, you know, I say that as a deep baritone kind of voice with it being 6 feet tall, you know. So I think that's amazing. That's an amazing experience. I love that. You'll have to send us exactly where you were. We won't share that out. But next time I go to Hawaii, I'd love to go check it out just to see the area where you were at. I will not be camping because I don't believe in being outside where things can get me with only cloth to protect me.
And also, it's freaking humid. It is always humid in Hawaii.
No, that's true. Humidity I'm used to. Yeah, I was actually just talking with my hubby bubby about going on a Jurassic Park adventure in Hawaii. We were talking about that because a lot of stuff was filmed for Jurassic Park on Hawaii because of the volcanoes and things like that. So I would love to know where this is because I would love to go check it out during the day, not camping. But I might leave some cake because they have those purple donuts there. I might leave some of those. I love
my first trip to Hawaii. I went on a helicopter tour, and it was right after they had finished filming Jurassic Park. So we flew over and saw the signs and everything. And they were like, we don't know what this is. And I'm like, I read the book. I know exactly what this is. And it came out like a year later. It was amazing. So,
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm going to go check it out. Tim, that's amazing. Tell me where it is. I will bring the purple donuts, which are so amazing.
And we'll order some bottles of water. So
I think we might have to.
Fayekin, Hobbitkin, something like that. But maybe like the Moon-Eyed People, the Cherokee, that same type story all over the world.
They're little people. We've heard about that. I mean, we heard little people come, whether they call them gnomes or whatever, they're little people come from Ireland, Iceland. Still, this is very much a part of their history, little people. So yeah, they're there. They're real and they're small humans, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's get a couple more done here. There we go, Erica.
Here we go. Hello to my favorite new podcast, or should I say, greetings, travelers. Woo!
Oh, hey, greetings.
Greetings. And we are glad we're your favorite. Please share the word out there. I've got my encounter story for you. Ooh, this should be good. I was camping. See, those words will never come out of my mouth, travelers. I was camping. So, I was camping in Grand Teton National Forest south of Yellowstone with a few buddies. We had been hanging out and fishing all day, so we were pretty tired. As we were getting ready for bed, we were sure to hang our food and other smell stuffs in a bear-proof container really far from camp, 500 feet, as not to attract bear into our camp. Well, that's very smart.
Smart.
Good job. Good job so far, new traveler. And travelers, please pay attention to those kind of rules, because I don't care where you are. If you have even raccoons, they can be nasty and they come in droves at times. Sometimes they're cute, fuzzy. I love raccoons, opposable thumbs. I enjoy them. But I have also seen what is a herd of raccoons called, Mark? Do you know?
I don't know. They should be
okay, you Google that while I keep going on the story.
It need to be like a dazzle, like the like a herd of zebras. But yeah, Grand Teton National Forest is amazing for the wildlife there. So
okay. So here we go. We all stayed in the same tent, and in the middle of the night, we heard something moving through the trees. Not knowing I was awake, one of my friends elbowed me to wake up and said, "Do you hear that?" I nodded, and the crashing continued, and I whispered back, "What is it?" My friend peeking through a small opening in the tent, and I watched his face completely drain of color. Even in the low light of the moon, I could see he was pale as pale. He's like, "I have no fucking clue, dude." I scooted over my sleeping bag just in time to see an enormous figure's back leave the edge of our campsite and begin moving deeper into the trees until I lost sight of it. My buddy and I did not sleep the rest of the night, jumping at every single sound outside our tent. Next morning, we recounted what happened to the two others who slept through the experience. They thought it was cool but didn't seem interested till we went to get the food from the bear-proof container. The container was taken down, rope perfectly intact, and the food neatly taken out and placed around it. A bear doesn't do that. If a bear had gotten into it, everything would have been shredded. That's how I came to want to know more about cryptids. I often debunk most stories as I'm an environmental scientist, tons of biology, geology, ecology experience. My rational brain says bear, but I couldn't see any defining features in the low light. But it was the way the food was neatly laid out. That's not a bear. That should be the name of this episode. Listener tales.
Not a bear.
Yeah. Some Sasquatch, I've heard even crazier explanations. I know for certain something got our bear box down, opened it, neatly took out food to see what was in the box. Also, that motherfucker took my Skittles that I was saving, and I was kind of pissed about that. I know that's not a lot to go on. Curious as to your theories, John. John, first of all, of course it took the Skittles. Sasquatch have amazing taste. I would say that's probably what, you know, a man of the wilds, a man of the woods. It sounds like that's what you encountered. Because again, bear, you're correct. I've had bear experiences camping. I've talked about them on the show. Mark has had bear experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Bears do not leave a delicate thing within their wake. They just don't. They rip shit apart. And I think that it took everything out and went, I'm going to take the Skittles, please and thank you. I love that. I love that so much because it sounds like a sassy after my own heart. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I think it was something. It was big. And again, you thought it maybe bear, maybe not bear. It was incredible. And that's exactly this type of stuff we need to document. Grand Tetons has lots of strange encounters there and they're finding wildlife there every weekend still new wildlife that are documented, mostly birds and insects, but still that we just shows you there's a lot out there we don't know. So
yeah, and John, one of the things, especially with your experience, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on a lot of the stories. So please feedback, since we're your new favorite podcast and stuff. Because if there are explanations, we love to hear it. But I think that, and you know, we did an episode a while back on things that were considered cryptids that are modern day things, like the giant squid. That's another one. They just had a giant squid experience recently with something. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but you know, that's my brain, drunken gnome inside there. The thing is, though, is there are so many things that people go, that's not a thing. And then they find it actually is a thing. And it's created in nature, or it's an animal, or it's whatever. So I think there's a lot of stuff that we encounter that is labeled cryptids. And I think there are definitely some weird things out there, right? Like Goatman and, you know, that sort of stuff. But I think there are things that are natural. And I think actually Sasquatch are very natural.
I think so. I think this is, again, just something we don't understand and haven't fully documented. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So.
But John, welcome to being a traveler. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you joined us.
I'm glad you're enjoying the show. And we love that story. That was perfect. So
yes, thank you.
Right.
Please keep sharing, and please send comments on things
that
people talk about that maybe you go, hey, that's a this, so that we can bring it up on our next show.
Environmental scientist. Exactly. Welcome aboard. So
welcome aboard. Right. We love that.
We only got a few left, so we're going to go a little long, but I think we can blitz these. So right off the bat, let's see. Here we go. Do you think I saw the Fey realm? All right.
Yes. I don't even know what the story is, but yes.
What I saw blurs the line between cryptid and nature spirit, though I think most of your listener stories do. Good point.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a forest I like to walk near me. It's a fairly popular area, but I like to go off trail and just wander in the woods. I came up to this marshy area that I find beautiful and was just looking out over the water. Out of the corner of my eye, I see this woman sitting on a rock in the marsh. She has a shimmer around her and seems to be almost half there, like she's a mirage. Her appearance I can only describe as a swamp mermaid. She had a fish-like tail and was covered in mud and green plant growth. She was still very beautiful. I think she was brushing her hair, but this was a few years ago, so I could be wrong. I looked at her for a few seconds, and she saw me, and then she winked out of visible existence. I go back to that spot all the time, though I've never seen her again. I always get the overwhelming feeling that I'm being watched, the kind of feeling that would be unnerving if I wasn't so sure that this was a sprite/elemental type being. Sometimes I leave food or tobacco just to say thanks for letting me see you. In that same spot, I also once saw a very large white owl, unlike any I've seen in the area, and it was just chilling out in the daytime. Sean.
Yep. So, I would go yes.
Yeah.
I would go Fae. Absolutely. 1000%. Not cryptid, Fae. Because that reminds me of the Kelpies. That's what she reminds me of, is very a Kelpie. Much. So, Sean, if you look up the Kelpies in Scotland, they talk about the Kelpies being horses that would drag people into the water. Women. But that's part of the whole mermaid lore, too, where these beautiful, what appear in your mind's eye to be a beautiful creature that draws you in. Now, this one doesn't sound like it's very mean, which is nice, because the Kelpies can be really mean when they want to be and drown you. But it sounds like you may have found a spot that just has a little more energy in it than others, and that's why you're seeing some of the more Fae-like creatures.
Yeah,
they like sweets a lot and fruit. I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to bring some of our lovely friend John's Skittles in that direction, they would appreciate that, and pies.
Yeah, very dryad sounding and stuff. So,
yes,
or water nymph. So definitely some forest spirit. You're right. Line between cryptid and nature there. So
yeah, agreed. Okay.
Otherwise, it was that drunk lady from Louisiana who got arrested for pretending to be a mermaid. So
I did see her mugshot. I don't. She is not unattractive. but I don't know that she would be described as a beautiful maiden, especially with her level of intoxication.
All right, that's true. That's true. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Moving on.
I'm just putting that out there. Okay. Here we go. I've told this story before to other shows and no one has replied. Here goes. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here we go.
Here we are.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my family and I went for a walk on the beach during midwinter because we're a little eccentric like that. I appreciate it. Halfway through the walk, halfway through the walk, actual words, it started blizzarding fierce and we decided to head back to the car. On the way back to the car, my brothers and I were complaining of being tired, hungry, and thirsty, but my dad, who was born and raised in the area, assured us there was nowhere to buy food or drink anywhere near that particular beach. However, as we battled through the white towards the car park, a building loomed out in front of the blizzard. It was a strange building, like an annex to a 60s, 70s modern comprehensive school. People from the UK will know what style I mean. Do you know what style he means? They mean?
I can imagine there. So, okay. Yeah.
Well, we're just going to go modern school. Fine. Okay. And squeezed in between 4 hedgerows atop the spine of a long, flat sand dune, as though it were there first and the ancient and haggard hedges had somehow grown up around it. Outside was a sandwich board advertising hot drinks and snacks, so we bundled on in. Place was packed. There must have been 4 or 5 dozen tables, and every single one was heaving with parishioners eating tea, toast, tea cakes. What?
Pensioners, not parishioners. Pensioners.
Is
old
that
folks.
The same thing?
No, parishioners go to church. Pensioners are old folks.
Okay, sorry.
The British. I know you're having trouble with the British slang. I watch way too much stuff.
I could do a horrible British accent and do this, but I'm not going to because that's offensive. Okay. Gotcha. When we arrived, there were no other cars in the car park, and the nearest bus stop was in the village at the end of the track, a few good miles away. So goodness knows where all these old people had come from. The room itself was very strange. The tables and chairs were mismatched and arranged around glass display cases on podiums filled with moldering taxidermied specimens of local wildlife, except many of the examples were either creatures who live nowhere near the sea, hedgehogs, badgers, voles, or animals that aren't native or rare to the area. Cormorants, you say those words.
Cormorants, avocets, and plovers. Those are like unusual birds. Sorry, dogs. Birds.
Okay.
And animals like that. Yeah.
Okay. At the center of the room was a squared off spiral staircase leading to the upstairs, which, despite having no curtains visible from the outside and being in the middle of the day in a bright white snowstorm, was pitch dark. So, black. We couldn't even see the top of the staircase banisters. We sat down and my dad went off to get some food. The oddest thing, again, with the oddest, the oddest thing is that even at the age, I remember looking at the prices on the wall and being very confused because they were all in old money with prices in halfpennies, sixpence, shillings, etc. It was an open pass kitchen and the equipment behind looked very old or retro, I guess, as did the clothes of the very plump, happy woman working behind the counter. When my dad came back with the food, he couldn't stop about how amazingly cheap it was and how the woman who served him spoke using an ultra-specific regional dialect terms that he thought completely died out decades ago. He said it was like being a schoolboy at a tuck shop again. We ate our very, very generous and delicious tea cakes and hot chocolate and got back on our coats, hats, scarves, and gloves and walked back to out in the still raging blizzard. The whole time we were there, not a single other person entered or left, despite the many tables clearly having finished eating before we even arrived. We battled back to the car and much difficultly maneuvered back onto the track to the main road and headed home. In the years to come, we visited that beach again many, many times. The building was not there. Not only was it not there, was no sign it had ever been there. No rubble, no ruins, no footprint, no foundations, not even the ancient-looking hedges that that it had squeezed itself inside of. Due to the beach being on a long promontory, did I say that right?
Yep, promontory.
Jutting out into the major shipping channel in the area has been
fastidiously
mapped for centuries. Using my student historical archive access, I studied the maps of the area roughly every decade back to the early 19th century, and according to them, there was never ever a building on that site. Now, it's easy to think I've grown older. I've become confused about which beach we visited, but my dad, who was born and raised there, knew exactly which beach we were on, and the beach itself was very, very distinctive. A long, thin teardrop split of sand extending across the river estuary mouth. I know it must have been that beach because I remember seeing the red warning beacons at the top of the suspension bridge crossing the estuary, blinking through the blizzard. The place didn't exist. Had never existed. I ate tea cakes and drank hot chocolate with my family in a place that simply never was. Let me know what you think. My aunt, the only other person in my family to believe us, says you all have talked about this before. Mackenzie. Well, Mackenzie, our lovely friend, sounds like you dimension shift, my friend.
That was definitely some sort of glitch in the Matrix story. We love those. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
that's what I think.
You went to a place that you had an experience at and it's not there now. It could be again past. We've heard this before where it's not exactly past from that town, it's just somewhere from another place.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And tell your aunt thank you for telling you about us and so that you sent us that story.
Yeah, no, and Mackenzie, you're not wrong. Here's the biggest problem is most of the time when people experience these things, there's a lot of times it's a big, large group of people that experiences it, right? But anybody who experiences things sees it slightly differently. Like Mark sees things differently than I do when we both experience things, and completely different than Carrie does, and different than Bo does. And I'm, like I experience things differently than a lot of my friends do. And then I have friends. So everybody has a slightly different reality with things. However, with that said, a lot of these experiences are not like a stadium full of people. They're done on a much smaller scale. So it seemed like you had that intention, you and I think you said your brother had that intention that you were cold and you wanted some hot chocolate. So the, dimension shift into the perfect place for it, then go home. I love, love, love it. Love it. It's amazing. Thank you, Mackenzie, for sharing that story with us.
Yeah. What a way to end it. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. We haven't had a good glitch in the Matrix story in a while, so that was great. So
I loved it. Oh my gosh, this batch of stories was phenomenal.
Oh my gosh,
I absolutely loved all of them, and I didn't get completely freaked out. So,
really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, we did it during the day. We did it during the day. So smart. And oh my gosh, we had some fun encounters. I like the bobcats going into the house.
I love that so much.
And we had a nice deep dive into crop circles and all that. Oh my gosh, you guys, incredible. And I think we had some Bigfoot. We had plenty of Dogman this time. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. It's like a dam broke on that. So, wow.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. This has been so much. And thank you, everybody who's sending these in. You can send them to info@eerietravels.com. You can send them to mark@eerietravels.com because he's grabbing all these and putting them up right now while Bo is going through what Bo is going through, who we love and miss terribly. And hopefully she'll be back soon to be able to read with us. She's behind the scenes, everybody. She hasn't gone anywhere.
She's still doing the editing and all that. You're just
and still yelling at us about when we time things. So trust me, she's there. But I think that this was just fantastic. I'm so glad I wore my Nope sweater for this. So,
yeah, this is perfect. Although you didn't have to Nope too much. So
you know what? I decided my Nope sweater is a layer of protection. So I'm gonna wear it every time we do listener tales. That's what I'm gonna do.
There we go. That's a good one. So, but
and in case you're wondering, guys, I got this from Walmart. So
Good stuff.
Mark and Carrie found it at Walmart, and I immediately purchased it. So,
wow. Yeah. No,
okay.
I'm so floored by all this.
Yeah, I don't even know how you're going to take this away, but it better involve Skittles. Go.
Well, thanks again, patrons, keeping us afloat. Oh my gosh, if you could throw us a couple bucks, we appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us on this, and thank you for sending these stories, travelers. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. I know shows that would kill for just one of these, and you guys just overflow us with this wonderful bounty of amazing stories that we can document and track for 40 in February. This is perfect. This is what we want, and keep them coming. This was incredible. Sad to say there's a few we didn't get to, but hey, we can't just get to them all, but we'll get to them next time, and keep them coming. Oh my gosh. All right. That said, when you're out there traveling through the woods and you hear that strange noise and you look out and you see that not bear, get yourself to safety, but document it. Keep your eyes open for a white light that might float through the woods. Grab yourself some tea and hotcakes at that wonderful place that didn't exist yesterday. And then go cozy up to that wonderful mermaid in the swamp. And we'll see you on the other side.